she is. No, okay. Can I go back? How can I? No. Oh, guys. I need to get back.
Okay, the video is running live.
Great. Just in time to see me get. There we go.
Perfect.
There we go. Okay. Welcome to Sorting Soup. If you do not want your faces shown on video, now is the time to turn those videos off. Welcome or welcome back to Sorting Soup, where the news is never neat and the pot is always simmering. So this week's stew, well, let's just say it's not for the faint of stomach. We will start with the shocking murder of Charlie Kirk and the partisan blame game that followed. The rhetoric is boiling fast and furious, y'all. It's going crazy. It started right away before they even know who did what and where and why, and well, we know how that goes. Then we move on to a crackdown on free speech with late night host Jimmy Kimmel abruptly canceled and Trump once again stirring the pot by declaring Antifa a terrorist organization. Now, does anybody know anyone in Antifa? No, but we'll get to that. Meanwhile, ICE raids in Chicago and other cities are spreading fear and leaving activists scrambling to protect their neighborhoods. And down in Mississippi, y'all, let's just say there is something strange bubbling away that demands a second, closer look. So the table's set, the pot's hot, and the ingredients are flying. And our job is to stir it up and sort it out and see what the flavor is, what we are really left with after we all get through all that mess. Can we do that together today? I think we can do that. This is Sorting Soup. Let's go to it. Let's take a breath together. The intro, I am Cecilia, the co-facilitator. We have Dr. Melissa. I don't know if she's with us today, but we do have Dr. Chris, I believe. And yes, we do. She is right there. We have Beth M as our vibe check and chat monitor today for most of the day. And Book Money will be helping out in all the good ways as he does. Today, this group is a space where we talk about things. It's an emotional and analytical processing. I'll let you read all of that. How it started, we all, a lot of us attend coffee and conversation meetings with NWSOFA Monday through Friday, which I highly recommend, where we get a lot of news and court case information and like information about Indivisible and 5051 organizations and all sorts of other just information. It just got to be a fire hose of information. And then the after hours, it was even more so processing and wonderful conversation. But then we realized we wanted more. And so Sorting Soup came about. And we meet Thursdays from 5 to 6:30. And we have some group norms. If you can see your digital hand right there, you have a little heart. Uh, you can, if you know how to raise your digital hand. Yes, Constance, just like Constance did. Do you have a question? Oh, can you unmute? Oh, hold on. Can you unmute?
We go. Um, so I joined this group tonight. I missed the last one or two because I'm just feeling the need to be with kindred spirits. You know, after what has gone on in so many areas, but sort of the topper yesterday for the First Amendment was firing and still another late night comedian whom we depend on, just like Stephen Colbert, to help us get through this terrible time. And here he's taken away from us as well. Jimmy Kimmel is taken away from us as well. And they're going to be targeting the remaining guys. So I felt the need to be with, as I say, people who I assume kind of feel very similarly to me, maybe not as quite as feeling as bleak as I do at this point. I'm trying not to, but I just want, I hope to, for those of us who do need to feel, the support of others who are very concerned as we are, maybe to hear from some people who, um, are have their own reactions to the firing of Jimmy Kimmel last night.
That that is the perfect reason to be here, and you're jumping ahead.
Okay,
But I love you for it. So just give me two shakes of a lamb.
sure.
All right. So as she did though, she was the perfect example of raising your digital hand to contribute to the discussion. So we ask that you keep it civil and constructive, and if you perceive a problem, you propose a solution. No spamming in the chat, and what we talk about here is very heavy, and so we ask that you do take breaks and step away if you need to. So today we will be taking about 30 minutes for processing and talking and discussing the agenda. And then we will take about 30 minutes or more for brainstorming. The format, group discussion, and responding to on-screen props or whatever you want to talk about. Again, raise your digital hand, the react button. It could be on the bottom or the top of your screen. And sometimes it's on the right-hand side, depending on what kind of device you're using. Each speaker will have approximately 2 minutes to share. That doesn't mean that you can't raise your hand again if you have something else. You can speak as many times as you want. Cynthia, do you have a question? Or do you just have one more thing to do? So, okay, just a moment. Okay, let me see. Today we're going to be talking about fear and control to suppress democratic spaces. But first we breathe through the bardo. That's why I asked. You can keep your hand up to be, so wherever you are, make sure that you are able to have your feet planted and your body, like your butt, positively planted. Let's take a breath together for breathing through the bardo. And if this is your first time here and you're not sure what in the world the bardo is, it is the in-between space, a transition where the old order is crumbling, but the new hasn't arrived yet. It can feel chaotic, frightening, you know, overwhelming. But that space, when we're in that space, breathing together, we're not powerless, y'all. So inhale slowly and fill your lungs with steadiness. And exhale and release the weight that you've been carrying today. And as you breathe in, listen to my voice. Every movement before us has had to breathe through the bardo. Those moments when justice seemed far away, when repression felt stronger than hope. Our breath is proof we are still here. Exhale slowly. Proof we are still fighting. So breathe in solidarity. Draw in the strength of all who resist with you. And breathe out fear. Let go of isolation. They want us to feel. One more deep breath in. Let it steady you. And exhale, knowing that the space between us is where we gather, where we grow, and where the next world begins. And that was breathing through the bardo. All right. So I accidentally hit the button that hit me through the wrong, got me to number 5. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. Processing. So processing, we don't have to talk about these, but this is what we have. The CK murder and fallout, partisan blame games, and heightened rhetoric. Free speech crackdown, Jimmy Kimmel cancellation, Trump deeming Antifa a terrorist organization, even though it's an ideology, y'all. ICE raids in Chicago and elsewhere, that's where Rebecca is, by the way, sows fear in vulnerable communities and activists. And strange happenings in Mississippi. We need to call it what it is. But what is it? Cynthia Chambers. Oh, hold on. There we go.
Turn around.
Oh.
Yeah?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Trying to get it centered here. Well, a lot of things have been bothering me. Mississippi is just one of thousands at this point, like everybody else. But the main thing that's really getting me to think about late at night, waking me up out of sleep, is what are we really accomplishing? Hello?
Go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay. Accomplishing with our protests. There were 150 million people who voted in the 2024 election. So why are our elected officials or anybody else going to pay attention to 5 million or 10 million people coming out for a peaceful protest? I need a grasp of what we think we're accomplishing with the protest. As far as I see it, our real powers are 1, our vote, 2, withholding our tax payments, and 3, filing lawsuits in the judicial system, which right now the current administration is ignoring. You know, I just I feel like we're going. I'm really afraid that we're going to wait until it's too late.
Cynthia, did you see Rachel Maddow show the protests? Did you see the visual representation of millions of people outside against what's happening? I'm just asking, did you see
No,
any of that?
I saw the one in London yesterday.
Because the reason I'm asking, part of the why we are protesting, part of the reason is the visual of millions of Americans coming together peacefully against what is happening is powerful. It is showing that the majority of Americans disagree enough to get off our lazy bums and come outside, because we know that is what we don't do, and we make an effort to come out. Also, keep in mind that many people who come out each weekend to protest are new people who protest. So that's, keep those numbers. Those are new people coming out to protest each weekend. That's new people upon top of new people on top of new people protesting each weekend, building numbers after building, which means that the No Kings 2 protest is set to be the largest protest in the history of our country. And the reason that we need to show them that we have this massive of a following is that this class does not agree with what they are doing. We have the will of the people. We have the motivation of the main will of who's paying attention, who is in the will of the people. And Dr. Chris is going to say this much better than I have. So but also, and I saw this in the press conference today. The Democrats were saying that to go out and protest, to make sure that your voices are heard, because once they go after the comedians first. Fascists always go after comedians first because they have the tiny egos. They can't handle, they're strong men. They can't handle being made fun of because it hurts. It hurts their tiny little egos. So they go after the clowns first, the satirists first, and it was obvious that would have been their first move. We have to stand up now and go, and this will be our response.
There are 243 million people eligible to vote.
Yes, ma'am.
Only 150 million do vote.
Yes, ma'am.
The No Kings protest, what the largest estimate was 10 million.
Yes, ma'am.
10 million out of 243 million eligible voters. That's a pittance. What does it, I mean,
but do you know how much
it makes a statement, but what does it do? It hasn't stopped them.
But imagine if all of those people stop buying things. Imagine if all of those people, because we can then influence those people, all of those people, we can then influence all of those people to stop buying things. We can stop. Do you see what I'm saying? We can then have them stop getting Hulu. We can have them stop getting Disney Plus. We can have them, cut off your do you see what I'm saying? Um, we then have influence over where your boycott goes, where your money goes strategically, and then the next step is just strategic sabotage here. I mean, because once we get, it's the idea, the protest is just getting into this, is step one. It's getting
Right.
it's getting into getting them into the movement.
Step one. So my question for today was going to be, and I know it's different for every individual, but what thing would make you say, that's it? They've crossed the line. I now have to try something, even if it's life changing. For instance, withholding tax payments. We're funding what they're doing.
I'm already there, babe.
Yeah. And, besides voting, that's really our most powerful tool, is cutting off the money.
I was told that even if we did that personally, like our personal tax payments, individual tax payments will make no matter. It's the corporate taxes that would really make the difference. So
So corporate over individuals still.
yep.
So
So it
we
doesn't
have our vote.
Yeah, we have our vote, but we also have our strategic boycott. It's our money. It's the money we spend. It's not our taxes. It's the money we spend on a daily basis.
So what boycott has been successful so far?
Target.
I promoted all of them.
Target has been the most successful boycott by far.
I never shop at Target, so I wouldn't know.
But that's been the most successful by far. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's going on too long. It's just, I just really have worked myself into a hole worrying about, are we waiting too late to actually do something?
And I understand, hon. I don't think we're waiting too late. I think we just have a multi-layer approach that you're not seeing quite clearly.
Because I support the protests, and I go to every one that I possibly can.
I understand. I do. All right, Dr. Chris, maybe you can explain what I could not understand, because yes.
I think what we're hearing, and we'll probably hear a lot on this call, is and this happens. I mean, this is actually, just so you know, this feeling of hopelessness, that what we're doing isn't enough. They're bigger than us. They're they have the power, and maybe we should just give up. Okay, now I want to let you know those are very natural, common feelings. Me personally, I have been at very low points where you feel overwhelmed, where you wonder if the machine is just too big to beat, but that's part of the plan. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons that we're actually here today, is to, one, get support from each other. And then I don't know if you had a chance to ever watch the 1 Million Rising campaign, because so part of that is just about us understanding that with this movement, if you will, that when you get a certain percentage, 3.4% of the population actively engaged in resistance. And resistance can look a lot of different ways. A visual part of resistance, Cynthia, is protest. That's where we drive down the street. We see people. I was on a bridge the other day where we were, doing our bridge brigade. So, 28,000 people crossed under that bridge that day, okay, and saw our message. So if you're visible right now, Rebecca is downtown at the immigration facility. So we're reminding people that what we're going through as a country, this is not normal. It is not normal for ICE people to be kidnapping our neighbors. That's not normal. It's not normal for the president of the United States to put pressure on the FCC commissioner, to put pressure on the news agency to get people off the air because of jokes or even commentary that they make. Okay, that they don't agree with that. That's not normal. Okay, so what we're doing with protests is making that visual representation. And then you heard Cecilia talk about other strategies, because then you get into the economic impacts. You've heard Indivisible talk about, businesses. And I think I even heard where we're putting up signs saying immigrants are welcome here. So that is, so what you're seeing is resistance from economic pressure to public visible signs, and that's what a protest is. It's a visible sign. Things are not normal here. And, we could go on, but all I'm going to say is hang in there. We've, as activists, we have all been in the place that you're at. And honestly, that's part of the plan. That's part of what fascists do. That's what's part of authoritarians do. They say they're bigger than us. I'm just one small person. I can't make a difference. But you are right also that we've got to get out the vote. But the way we get out the vote is we get people as part of the movement, where they recognize, oh my God, they're not just passively sitting by, or they're not playing their video games or whatever things that consume people normally. I was not involved in politics prior to Trump, getting in office a second time.
Me
Okay. I was
neither.
not involved in anything I'm involved in. So hopefully that keeps you going. And I know we have a number of people also that have some things that they want to share and kind of get off their chest. But just realize that we're in a really dark place right now. But that's why we have to have solidarity with one another and support with one another to get through this. Don't give up. I'm not giving up. Cecilia, are you giving up? I don't think
Oh,
you're
heck
giving up.
no. Come on, y'all.
Okay,
No.
okay, okay, come on. All right. So Henry, I think you're up next.
Yep. Oh, okay. Hold on. There you go.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, as others have, about the 3.5 study, et cetera. It's impossible, I'll just say, to see from within one's immediate circumstance what's going on in the big picture. It's kind of an act of faith. And I agree, Cecilia, what you said. I mean, if you watch Rachel, and it's one of her great services, is that she showed us, insistently, it's not just where you are. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. And we have to almost imagine that in our particular spot is just one spot of a much larger thing. And how large, we have no idea, I think, ultimately, how large is it large enough? I mean, and where things lead. I mean, that's what you also said, Cecilia, you know, getting out there, getting involved in one way often leads some number, not everybody, obviously, but some number to get involved in other ways. Creativity comes in, and then there are new things. And, I think it's fair to say that Indivisible's thought, among other groups, is that there will be an escalation of action, whether it involves taxes, whether it involves some American version of what in Europe would be called a general strike, or something else. We just don't know at this point. But there is a notion that nonviolent, but an escalation of action, which probably means putting ourselves more on the line than standing with a sign. I'm in no way putting that down.
Right.
But that is likely to evolve, and it may well be essential to evolve. But again, we're in a process. We don't know how it's all going to unfold, so we just have to step in and help make it happen.
One
So,
step in front of the other.
yep.
That's where we are. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Elaine. All right. I am right in the middle of a bunch of buttons. There we go.
Hi.
Hi.
I just, while she was talking about holding your taxes,
Mhm.
I reminded of a long time ago when they built the Garden State Parkway here in New Jersey,
Yeah.
and it was supposed to be free. And then they decided to put a toll on it of 25 cents. And so the big thing was everybody go through and don't put any money in. And you know how long it took to get the state police to block off the park. Okay. So, I mean, there's always something that's going to happen that the higher ups are going to do. My concern about not paying taxes or any kind of taxes that we have is that the biggest sufferers are going to be those of us on Social Security and those of us on welfare, because that's the first place they're going to strike. That's the carotid artery.
Yeah.
And they're going to just get us through that. I'm not saying don't protest. I go as often as I can. I'm online as much as I can, posting things that I feel are important and that I hope people will read. But unfortunately, there aren't enough of us yet.
That is the
So I don't know what we can do about that other than what Henry says, to keep on keeping on. Just keep trying. I know you guys are trying. I know there's people here that are trying, but there really aren't enough of us to make a significant dent in this yet. Thankfully, what happened in Britain got blasted all over. The fact that the prime minister didn't really agree with the Donald, and that was a very good thing. I was happy about that. I was happy about quite a few things, that they really think he's nuts. They really do.
and they know how to protest properly.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did. There weren't that many of us, in that Hands Across New Jersey thing. There were like 15 of us out there on a half a block. It was like, but they had spirit.
They had
Uh,
spirit, so
they
that's
had
okay.
spirit. So it was acceptable. We did what we did. We even sang songs in this. We did
Hey,
did a
that's
lot of stuff.
okay.
Yeah, people drove by and they thought we were crazy, but that's okay. I don't mind being crazy, but I'm going to keep on trying, and I hope that everybody else does. I don't have much faith in not taxing anything, holding back taxes. They'll get you. They'll take your house. They'll throw you in jail. They'll do all this other stuff because that's what they do.
Yeah,
And it's
honestly.
not a blue thing or a red thing. It's the law.
Well, yeah,
It's
I've actually looked into that, and I've looked into it, and it doesn't make as much of a dent personal tax unless you are a very wealthy person and make a lot of money, and I mean a lot of money. You're
They're
not
not
going
paying their taxes though.
yeah, and that's
They get
right.
away with
They're
it.
not
They
even
have the
paying their
lawyers.
taxes, so they're not even making but corporate taxes, that those are the ones that really are making the most important um amount yeah. So anyway, Constance, you're up next. Thank you so much, Elaine.
I would just say that I think, we can all relate to what does this mean? What good does this do? But I think also we can relate to the fact that we're on this call because we feel we need other people. I know as I said at the beginning, I need other people today. I live alone with my dog, and I can feel despairing when I feel like I'm the only person or one of the only few people who feel as strongly about what's going on as I do. But when I get out into a rally and hear those car horns honking and people are jumping up and down, and I'm seeing all manner of my fellow citizens, young kids, teenagers, older people like me, families, dogs out there, and they're protesting, and everyone feels confident and the horns are honking. I feel more hopeful. And I and that's important. I think protests are also part of an ecosystem of pushback, of resistance, because the protests give hope to other people who are maybe are losing their jobs, and they're in their workplace, and if they hear the protests outside, They gain strength from that. I even gained strength from, looking at what's happening in Britain. The Brits were out in full force and they had creative multimedia um, pushback presentations on Windsor, projected onto Windsor Castle, and they were fantastic. And the questioners, the reporters had great questions, better than our reporters who have been culled down to, just social media platform quote journalists that Trump has chosen for the press pool. So I felt sad, but I also felt, hey, this is what we used to be and what we could be again. We could feel confident in challenging the president. We could feel confident in going out in the streets and telling Trump what's what. And I just think, protests not the only things we should do. Absolutely, we all need to do our micro protesting as well, and talking to friends and having sparking little conversations in grocery stores about how bad the grocery prices are. It all is of a piece. It's all of a tapestry of pushing back. And one can't be done without the other. But I would also say, look where Elon Musk is. He's behind the scenes doing dastardly deeds, but he is no longer out there wielding a chainsaw and
Yeah.
terrifying everybody, and that's because of the protests.
Yeah.
And I think
His stock has gone up though. Tesla stock has gone up.
I hear that. I hear that. But he's out of our hair.
That's true. That's true.
Um and other protests, I think in Chicago, we turned out and it hasn't been as bad. The federal troops haven't been sent in. And it's because we stood up. We have a strong governor and he spoke strongly. We followed him in the protests and Trump has backed off somewhat. So they can make a difference, but we can't just rely on protest, to your point, I think. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Constance. Nora, you're up. Go ahead.
Hi, sorry, I was eating my dinner.
That's okay.
There are things we can do to let them know we're unhappy. Right now, people are canceling their subscriptions to Hulu,
Yes.
and Disney owns Hulu streaming services, and they are putting pictures of their cancellation on social media.
Disney Plus too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Cancel all your subscriptions to that, and make sure you let them know why. There's a little form when you cancel. You tell them why. And also, freepress.net has a form, a very easy form that allows you to just go to their website, put your information in, and you can directly call broadcasters in your state and let them know that you are very unhappy with what's happened, and they give you a script and everything. And mine came up with 5 when I did it. If you live in a larger area, you'll probably have more. So that's freepress.net.
Freepress.net.
And that's just something we can all do. I mean, you multiply that, and tell your friends to do it. And it's free. Enough people do that and they'll take notice.
Right.
That's all I got, but happy to be here.
That's great. If you could drop that in the chat too, that would be fantastic.
I will.
Awesome.
Hey, Cecilia.
Yeah.
I know our normal timekeeper isn't here, Rebecca.
And we were running long. I was just looking, it's 5:45.
So I was just going to remind everybody we're a little over on the processing session. So maybe just take another 1 or 2 people and then move on to the brainstorming portion.
Right. So Christine, you're going to be our last person. So on this one, because you actually are our last person. So go ahead.
That's a lot of pressure.
That's fine.
I'm looking here and I'm like, I have plenty of light here. It doesn't look like I have light.
That's
I was just going to add that one of the things that's worked for me for most of my life is just being a pain in the ass and knowing how to bug the hell out of people. And for some reason it reminded me, and I'm not going to read it, but I was just in 1996, I wrote an op-ed in response to some guy who was complaining. Oh, it was on the demonization of white men. Some guy back in 96. Who was it? Paul Craig. Paul Craig Roberts. All right. But I just wanted to share, because this got in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, that he claimed that men gave us the right to vote. Men freed the slaves. We weren't all grateful enough, and that we were demonizing them.
Oh my gosh.
So my response was that even though I wasn't much of a history buff, that these acts of the very generous white men were more akin to the passing of a kidney stone the size of a gravel pit than the benevolence that was claimed by the author. And they printed it.
That was fantastic, Christine. Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
But I have to, I worry I haven't done many of these. I have to get really sort of steamed up. And I've been steamed up, but I can't get focused enough because we have so many different topics. But when we had Governor Doyle, I did an op-ed. I got a call from one of the state representatives after having to do about an identification system for domestic abuse. It was probably, and then I got to know his sister, and I felt kind of bad that that I kind of slammed her brother because she was also a consumer lawyer. But that's all I wanted to share. I just felt like sharing the kidney stone.
That was so great. That was
I needed a little praise. That was it.
you were praiseworthy,
Thank you.
my girl.
Thank you.
That was great. All right. So moving on to, because we're almost out of time, y'all. But to the brainstorming. Am I sharing the screen? Yes, right? Yes. Brainstorming. Here we go. Time brainstorm. How do we recenter the conversation on solutions like gun safety, de-escalation rather than partisan blame? And how do we defend culture and political spaces where dissent is safe and valued? How can non-immigrant allies reduce fear and increase safety and for vulnerable communities? Where do we see opportunities to reclaim space for truth telling, organizing, and community safety? And to be honest, how can we reclaim space for just being honest about what's happening in like just reality, folks? Just reality. Anyone? Anyone? We're almost out of
Christine,
time.
is your hand still up from last time, or did you want to add to, did you have some ideas?
Nope, nope.
I guess it's up from last time. Okay, so
All right.
here's where we start talking about solutions and what we're going to do in our calls to action.
Yeah, and
So
our calls to action.
what ideas do you guys have? What are you ready? What are you pumped up and ready to do? If you didn't have a chance to listen to Ezra and Leah today, you really need to do that because Leah was quite passionate about what she thought we should be doing. So
I have to listen to
I
it again.
posted a little something in the chat as to what we can do if you look at it.
Yes, please.
It's in there.
Okay.
It's in there.
you want to just talk us through it?
Oh, sure. A way to complain that will have the biggest impact. See if you have a Sinclair or Nexstar station in your area. Watch the local newscast tonight or sometime this week. Note the companies that bought TV advertisements. Call them and let them know you will boycott them until they quit supporting that media company. So that's something practical that we can do right from our own home.
That's very good.
Little
Yes.
something.
Yeah, Ezra and Leah on the call today actually gave us a list of the bank that there's two main companies that are doing these private prisons that they're putting the immigrants in. And I think it's called Citizens Bank. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's not in every state, but they did list it was at least 20 states that it was in, and talked about putting some pressure there. And I think they even said in Philadelphia they had a very organized effort and it was working, or they felt that it was working. So
And GEO is one of the private prisons.
yeah, I think that was one. Yeah. And there was another one as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And what we can do, Red Wine and Blue has an app, y'all. And it is, if you haven't downloaded it, it has a lot of resources that are highly useful. And you can spend some time going through this app because it has so many resources. So I recommend the Red Wine and Blue app just because it has a lot that can help you in organizing. Also, the Five Calls app, it's Old Faithful for a reason. And if you are, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, so I'm looking for the Ezra Leah link, but it sometimes takes a minute for them to post it, but we'll get it to you if we have the email. Oh gosh, and I lost what I was gonna actually say. Cecilia, go ahead. It was building on something you just said, but it'll come back to me.
It's okay. Well, I was just gonna say that if you don't have our Discord, I was going to put that in the chat, and we will be posting resources in the sorting soup area to help. Constance has been doing these great note cards to be able to for different areas, for different just for different subjects, because she's Constance and she's constantly Constance. and I just adore her. And y'all, I met someone. I went to a Braver Angels event last night, and I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy myself. I didn't like. I'm sure that Braver Angels does events very well, but last night it was not done well, logistically speaking. The breakout rooms, they didn't do them long enough. There were three of us. Lillian, were you there? I thought I saw you. Yes, you were. Okay, yeah. They were there were three of us in those rooms. We didn't have enough time. But one of the women in my room, I learned more from her than I learned from the whole event. Yes, Constance.
Well, go ahead and finish your thought. I just wanted to share an idea of something we could do, but that can wait until you're finished.
Well, I was just going to say that that it had they told us to complain on the survey, that they needed that feedback and that it was out of their control the way that it was set up. And I don't understand why it's out of the facilitator's control. I mean, this is I facilitate this. I choose, like, you know what I'm saying? And I know that I'm not the only person that sets this up. There are other people that help me, and they decide, we all work on this together. Anyway, beside my point. So go ahead, Constance.
Well, just this doesn't have to do with the Kimmel firing, but in a way, it's a suggestion for continuing to, chip away at Trump. There's a discharge petition, a bill, it's called the discharge petition, coming up in Congress that would require the FBI to release the Epstein files fully and with minimal redactions, I believe. And I think they're one vote away from passing it. And so if we called our congressman, I know I have a blue congressman. I believe he's going to vote to pass it. But others in like swing districts or red districts would do well to call your congressman and demand that they vote to pass for transparency's sake and for these sexual predators who have gotten away with murder and ruin people's lives. You've got to see the Epstein files and just press them to call every day, badger them as Governor Pritzker says, and demand that these files be released. So that would one keep the Epstein file story in the news, would then send that the bill to the Senate, and then we would badger the senators as well. But in the meantime, the momentum is building and building and should continue to build for the release of these files and for the embarrassment of Donald Trump.
I agree.
And just to add so I just looked at 5 calls. So that is one of the standard, I mean, the script is there. So, and I
Oh,
think
great.
somebody posted already the 5 call link. So you already have the script there. And then the person that asked about the What's the Plan video, it's been posted now a couple times. So thanks, Julie, and a couple other people that posted it, but it's there. If you sign up for that call, even if you're not able to attend it, they will send you the link. I often have to watch it after the fact. Today I just happened to be lucky.
Great. I'm so glad you mentioned that. So I'm looking for the link. Who put the link into, if you could maybe repost the link too, because I'm not finding it easily. But
Are you talking about the Ezra Leah
yes,
plan?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll repost it.
Okay, thank you so much. But yeah, I mean, this is Trump's Achilles heel. It's bipartisan, the outrage over this. And
Mhm.
so it's a way to immediately, bond with and coalesce with people that, we haven't been bonding with for years now. So,
It's not just bipartisan, it's worldwide.
yes, that's true. Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Constance.
Yeah.
And I believe, Henry, we will end with you today because it is 6 p.m. and we have something coming up after us tonight, I think. I think maybe. I don't know. All right, go. Oh, here we go.
Okay. Yeah, quickly. I want to say sweat the small stuff. Not what we usually hear, but in my experience, limited as it is, the kind of organizing that's really worked effectively is beginning often with very small things, local things in one's city and even in one's neighborhood or school system, because you get people involved, and especially if you get some wins on a local and relatively small level. If we are always thinking about what Trump et al. Are doing on a national level, of course we all go crazy and start
Right.
to feel, but a few wins, even if it seems small, not only feels good and empowering, but it
Right.
also gets other folks involved. And, wins tend to reinforce each other. So if you win on a local level, very local level, then some of the same folks, not all of them, will be around for the next step, ideally, and the next step, and the next step. So, at least for me, that's one way of keeping hope alive, as well as indeed uh, s- uh, getting more and more people involved. I work with another group, and I won't mention it, doesn't matter, but in other countries, and their big issue is a huge issue. It's the Middle East, okay? But they didn't start that way. They started with a lot of more local issues that got people together, um, and that led to a lot of people being involved in the quote unquote big stuff. So,
Thank you.
Hey, Cecilia, and for the rest of the group, I posted the No Kings mobilizing call tonight. That's at 7, and the mobilized link for those who wanted to come. I know there was a question about what's on the agenda for tonight. So
Thank you. That is perfect. And I wanted to, though, I wanted to share this. my screen because I went ahead. Future meetings. We have next Tuesday, we have civics with Columbus, Larry, and Boot Money. Y'all, that's going to be a good meeting. I have a feeling. And then Wednesday, we have our Vision Forward session at 7 p.m. And of course, then next Thursday, again, I hope to see you here. Yeah, Julie, let me see. Let me start sharing.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Cecilia, you thought there was something else. Wasn't it mentioned this morning, Jasmine Crockett with on Red Wine and Blue? Was that tonight?
That is tonight with Red Wine and Blue. Jasmine Crockett and James Tallarico.
And I lost the link, so I was asking if anyone had that link. And that's all I was
Yes.
raising my hand for. So if anyone has the link, great. Otherwise, I have no clue what time or anything.
Does anyone have that link that they could drop in the chat? That would be amazing. And we could share that. And then perhaps we could all join each other and see each other again. Well, we won't see each other for that. We will see her.
And thank you, everybody. Thank you. This was great tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. It's good seeing you again. I'm so happy. I know you were with your family and everything. I'm so happy that you got that time.
Babyland. Yeah.
Babyland. Yeah.
Big time Babyland. Yeah, it was a joy. Pure joy. That's what I'm not gonna stop fighting. That's
I know.
No way.
You're fighting for your babies, your grandbabies.
You bet. All of our babies, all of our kids. Yep. They're our future for sure. So,
well, y'all.
Great night, everyone.
That's where we'll leave it for today. I mean, the headlines aren't going to stop boiling, but we've got to sort through all that noise and look for solutions and be reminded that the solidarity that we find is just, the reason and the seasoning that we find each other here on this Zoom. So keep breathing through the bardo. Keep protecting the space for truth and dissent.